Mr. Peter Nwachukwu, the husband to the late Nigerian singer Osinachi, seemed not to be having it very easy with what is happening right now. If you can remember, Osinachi is a popular Nigerian singer who lost her life on the 8th of April in a very controversial situation. Before, it was stated that she passed on as a result of throat cancer, but eventually the report came back again, saying that she gave up the ghost as a result of what she passed through in the hands of her husband. And there was lots of reaction on the internet. Even her family members, her mother and her sisters, they granted an interview to BBC Igbo on what transpired between Osinachi and her husband when she was alive. Minister of Women Affairs Pauline Talin had to interview her children, had to go to the house to really understand what happened to her, whereby her kids exposed a lot of things about their dad, Osinachi's husband, how he maltreated them and also beat up his wife, allegedly. After all the interview, the man was arrested. He was interviewed by the police to understand more about what really transpired between Mr. Peter Nwachukwu and Osinachi Nwachukwu.
Her husband, who is being held in connection with her death, was brought by investigators before the police chief following an advocacy visit by the Minister of Women Affairs.
After all said and done, according to the report, the federal government of Nigeria has slammed homicide charges, 23-count charges, against Mr. Peter Nwachukwu, the husband of late popular gospel artist Osinachi, before the High Court of Federal Capital Territory. And they are taking legal actions if he is found to be guilty as charged. And Osinachi family, they are set to return her bride price to their in-laws, to Peter Nwachukwu's family. The most painful part of this story are the 4 kids that are caught up in the middle of all this drama. The man is being investigated and the children, I don't even know where they are. So when it comes to DV, domestic violence, most often it's the children that bear the brunt. So even if the woman says, no, I won't leave my marriage, I want to stay in my marriage, I want to endure, you are still not doing the children any good either. Because at the end of the day, they are the ones that are being affected. They are the ones that are severely damaged for seeing what is going on with you, how their father is treating their mother. So Peter Nwachukwu is facing legal action from Nigerian government, and the Attorney General of the Federation has charged Peter with 23 counts in connection with Osinachi's death. The Administration of Criminal Justice Act of 2015, sections 104 and 379 were used to charge Peter. If you can remember, after Osinachi lost her life on April 8th, Peter was detained and interrogated. Autopsy was conducted on the remains of Osinachi at National Hospital. The result of that autopsy was not made public. They handed it over to the police, according to the National Hospital in Abuja, and Peter has now been charged with culpable homicide in violation of Section 221 of the Penal Code, which is punishable by death in the High Court of Federal Capital Territory, FCT. If he has a good lawyer, the lawyer will be able to wriggle him out of that. It is culpable homicide, which is lesser than murder. And Nigeria operates 2 codes. They have penal code in the north and criminal code in the south. So at the end of the day, they might end up using a criminal code, which will not even give him that death sentence after all, if eventually he is convicted anyway. Mrs. Yewande, the head Sexual and Gender-Based Violence, Department of Public Prosecutions of the Federal Ministry of Justice, filed the case. And it says that you, Peter Nwachukwu, 56 male, did commit an offense to with culpable homicide, punishable with death on the 8th of April 2022 at Ako Estate, opposite Police Station Lugbe, Abuja FCT, within the jurisdiction of this honorable court, in that you caused the death of Mrs. Osinachi Nwachukwu by your various acts of violence and aggravated assault with the knowledge that her death was preventable. Does it mean that the autopsy incriminated him? Does it mean that there is something in the autopsy that is going to nail him? Maybe there is, that they slam him with charges, waiting for when the competent court of jurisdiction proves it to be so. Then they can now go ahead and nail him finally. The court session will begin, and if he's found guilty of all these charges, then he's going to face the music. The full weight of the law is about to be released on Mr. Peter Nwachukwu, who feels that he can do anything and get away with it. So let's see how everything plays out. It is quite unfortunate. Like I said, the kids are in the middle of this, and at the end of the day, if he's convicted, the kids, they will not see their father. Their mother is already gone. Most often, when women suffer DV in their marriages, they don't leave. Women will will prefer to remain there and even give their life in marriage because they believe that God does not like divorce. But at the end of the day, God does not want you to be killed in a marriage. God does not like an abusive home. It doesn't serve any good to anybody. You're causing more problem than good. You're causing problem for yourself. You're putting your children in more danger. Right now, the father is facing his charges. Their mother is down there. Children are left alone. Probably they will send them back to their grandmother so that they will stay with the woman. And the family of Osinachi is also talking about returning the bride price, because in Igbo culture, once a bride price is returned, that means there is no marriage. Whatever that has been binding everybody together, I know that death has already divided the marriage, but once bride price is returned, whether alive or death, there is nothing that will bind that woman to the man again, to the man's family, as per in-laws. From what the family is saying, they wouldn't want their daughter to be buried at Peter's place. They want their daughter to be buried at Abia State, because Osinachi is from Abia State. Isuochi precisely. And she's being married in Okpo, in Anambra State. So, and I think they want to return the bride price so that they'll be able to do the burial themselves, because if they leave the bride price unreturned, that means Mr. Peter Nwachukwu will be the one that will bury Osinachi Nwachukwu, and probably the family doesn't want that. If you never treated our daughter very well when she was alive, and you never informed us when she was sick, then how are you going to give her a befitting burial? And from the interview granted by Peter's brother at their village, it has shown that Peter doesn't relate very well with people at home, even with his own elder brother. He said that it was last 20 years that he set his eyes on Peter. According to the family, they say that they don't want their daughter to be buried in Mr. Peter Nwachukwu's compound, and they also released the date of her burial to be on 25th June 2022. One of the advocates against domestic abuse, Nigerian Nollywood star Victoria Inyama, she made a comment on that post. Peter being slammed with charges on homicide, and she said, "Oh my goodness, we have these laws, we have gender-based acts, and women are being killed, hurt, and molested daily, and nothing happens, no consequence. So unless a person is famous, then there is no justice, God," with 5 crying faces. The issue is that before you pursue this case, the woman that is suffering the abuse is supposed to take up this case against the husband, but the funny thing is that most often women don't take it up. Some even go as far as defending their husband. They don't open up. You see some of the married women, they will tell you they don't want to leave their husband's place, no matter what the man does, that they're okay there. Like I listened to one interview, one lady, the husband has been cheating. She said that there is nothing that will make her to leave the husband home, no matter what the man does. I was asking myself, so even if the man raises his finger on you, you are not going to leave. What if the man packs his bags and baggages and leaves the house for you? Does it mean you will still remain there? So what I've seen is that most women, they don't like to leave their husband's home because of what the society has made it look like. If you leave your marriage, you're a failure. If you leave your marriage, you've amounted to nothing, no matter all your achievements as a woman. So people live by those lies. People have that mindset and they live to it. They don't want to change it. They believe in it. That's the reason why some women, they even have money. I know that some women, they don't have money to leave abusive marriage, but some people even have money to leave, but they end up staying there. They end up there giving up their lives, just like Osinachi Nwachukwu. It is a very complex issue. Somebody who doesn't experience it will not understand it, but women need to unlearn certain things and relearn this matter. If you don't talk about the matter, you're not getting any justice. If you keep telling your family not to wade into the matter, not to talk about it, not to fight for you, like Osinachi said, at the end of the day, you lose your life. Your kids are the ones that will suffer it. Right now, I don't know the fate of these kids, although their maternal grandmother and Osinachi's sisters are there to assist, but this death could have been averted. The damage is done. The kids are experiencing it firsthand. They are the ones that even relate what the husband did to them and what the husband did to their mother, which is very tormenting, which is very mentally breaking. It is what it is. It is sad. It is quite unfortunate. So guys, let me know what you think about all this. Osinachi's husband being slammed with 23 charges of culpable homicide and her family trying to return her bride price. I'm gonna sign off here. Stay healthy and safe. Remember to share this video with family and friends if you love it, and subscribe to the channel if you're not done already. And I'm gonna catch you guys in my next video. Bye and remain blessed.